This afternoon, police admit 2 protesters were unlawfully detained for more than 48 hours. An internal investigation is underway.
Also, the shortage of liquefied petroleum gas hits parts of Accra, leaving customers frustrated.
Plus, Electoral Commission not backing down in decision not to allow independent forensic audit. We'll hear from a deputy chairperson. Good afternoon. It's good to see you here. This is News Central, and I'm Kemi Niamano.
And I am Mawina Egbeta. The bulletin starts right now. The Ghana Police Service has admitted to unlawfully detaining 2 protesters for more than 48 hours. The service says the officers involved in this disturbing occurrence are currently the subject of internal disciplinary proceedings. The admission by the police is contained in its latest statement on events surrounding the Democracy Hub demonstration. Let's run you through what the police has been saying. The graphics or the details of it are going to come up on your screens right now, where amongst many other things, the Ghana Police Service says 54 persons have been arrested and arraigned so far. Suspect Gloria Vera Louise is not pregnant, as has been claimed on social media. 50-year-old protester Grace Ashanti are charged with the offense of exposing a child to danger by bringing her to the demonstration grounds. The police administration, has directed the Police Professional Standards Bureau, PPSB, formerly PIPS, to investigate the circumstances under which 2 of the suspects were kept in police custody beyond 48 hours without being sent to court for necessary disciplinary action to be taken against those responsible. Well, we're staying on this because the calls for the release of the arrested Democracy Hub protesters have intensified, with pressure groups such as Africa Rising and the Economic Fighters League, amongst others, accusing the judiciary of miscarriage of justice in its handling of the protests. This afternoon, the movement coordinator Hadi Yakubu criticized the Accra Circuit Court's decision to remand several protesters for an additional 2 weeks, asserting that the judiciary is complicit in unconstitutional and inhumane acts, thereby violating the rights of the protesters.
This is completely unacceptable. It is the responsibility of the police service to disclose where detained people are kept. This is basic. It is not the responsibility of family and friends to go around looking for detained suspects. And up till now, some of them have still not been accounted for. We call on the Ghana police to immediately publish the full list of all those that were arrested and indicate specifically and exactly where they are being kept as of this moment. We also condemn the practice of the Ghana Police Service of moving detained protesters around in various police stations just to frustrate the family and friends and those well-wishers who wish to visit them in those places, as well as to provide them with the necessary legal assistance.
Let's bring in my colleague Noble Crosby Annan. He's been covering this event for us. He's joined us via Zoom right now. Crosby, we understand there are concerns regarding the image this development casts on Ghana's democracy. Walk us through what these concerns are.
Exactly, Marina. So according to Ernesto Yeboah, he's the commander-in-chief of the Economic Fighters League, and he is saying that the happenings over the last week are talking about the arrest of the protesters, and they've been arraigned, as well as they've been continuously remanded by the court, as something that does not speak well of the country's democracy, essentially saying that the treatment of the protesters by the police and by the judiciary is essentially something that does not speak well of the democracy of the country, cast a slur on the democracy, saying that they've been poorly treated in terms of the management of the protesters, even when they were in prison or police custody, the ill treatments they were subjected to, particularly the females and those of the aged bracket, is something that does not, paint Ghana in good light when it comes to the democratic credentials of the country.
Let's hear from him, and then we'll come back to demands that they are making within the shortest possible time.
Is so threatened. The democratic space is so muted that anybody with a basic understanding of democracy knows that this is not democracy. And especially when it relates to the rights of people to protest. In any case, who is a protester? Who is a protester? A protester is one with a mission to send a message across. And so the Constitution guarantees this right. And the protester does it in the most effective way that they could in order to send the message across. The right of protest is not given to us by constitutions. It is guaranteed.
Crosby and Esther Yabua there, what demands really are they making? Are they joining the plethora of calls for the immediate release of those arrested, the hashtags that's been trending on social media, free the citizens? What do they want at this particular point in time?
Exactly, Harry. So, number one is they're demanding that these arrested protesters be released. They're also asking that the conduct of the police officers be thoroughly investigated and police officers were found culpable for subjecting these protesters to human rights abuses should be investigated and then punished. Also, they're asking that the Attorney General discontinues the case because he is well within his rights to say that based on the public interest and the demands of the public, this is something that the state does not want to continue. But mainly, they're asking for an end to illegal mining. You know that this protest came up as a result of the destructive effects of illegal mining, also known as galamsey. So essentially, they're demanding that galamsey be halted. We also saw some representatives from Arocha, which is an environmental group, also saying that the president has not done well in the fight against illegal mining, demanding proper and concrete action from the government in regulating mining activities in the country and protecting the country's forest reserves. Sorry.
Right then, Crosby, many thanks for those details. That's my colleague, Noel Crosby Annan, with details from that news conference. You're reminded that we will continue to provide you updates in relation to what happens there here on TV3.
In the meantime, a severe shortage of liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, has hit parts of Accra, leaving residents and businesses in a state of uncertainty. Marketers have cautioned that if the situation persists, it could lead to the closure of gas stations across the country, disrupting daily life and causing significant inconvenience. Many gas stations in the city are displaying no gas signs, frustrating consumers who are left searching for alternatives. The few stations that still have LPG are struggling to meet overwhelming demand, further intensifying the crisis. George Queenan has been following up on the story, joins us with the very latest. George, do you have any idea about what is causing the shortage?
So what is really causing this situation is the fact that it's a supply issue coming from bulk oil distributors. And so these bulk oil distributors take consignment from Tama Oil Refinery, and so there's no improvement coming from that end. But speaking to a close source from the refinery, that issue has been rectified. And so the situation is expected to, improve in ensuing days. So hopefully, maybe in the next 2 days, we'll see that, manifesting one way or the other. So that's what we are praying for. Like the LPG Marketers Association has warned, it should not go beyond some days because the repercussions would be dire.
I see. Now tell us about the impact on consumers so far.
So this is one of 3 gas stations we visited this morning, and the situation is still the same. Signages of no gas placed at these stations to, inform consumers, that's residents and businesses, that there is shortage of this very consignment. It's a really terrible one if you ask me personally. People come here disappointed, seeking other options, which of course is not promising. Others also go home, empty-handed. There's this woman that I spoke to, for instance. She doesn't like buying food outside, but because of this, she has no option than buying food outside. She doesn't have charcoal or any other means of cooking, so she has to buy food outside, and so it's a serious issue. So this persists for a very long time. You can imagine the repercussions. And so the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana is calling for some sort of intervention, and for them, they are warning that should this persist, some gas stations will be forced to shut down, which of course we don't even want to imagine that. So our government and all duty bearers that really matter should really come through for them.
Because honestly, me need a co-pot war. Me nim co-pot war. Want me send me into say ana maybe me nim say gas are short to put. Me gas say nura enimri. Me say e ba beto gas. I mean to me because me dey aduane wa bonti. Me dey aduane wa. They're not why mo? But omu share na omu gas no omu beto my and yes I be high omu see yes switch to gas, yes switch to gas. Se see how dey pese yen
unless I return home because I don't know, I didn't hear any information about there's no gas in the station, so I just came and I saw that they get to school, so I'll be returning home.
Do you have any option for cooking?
Cooking. The probability will be less that will be cooking today, but we have some gas fuel in the house. So
you don't know how long that will sustain.
Yes.
This year the mintimum Adriana. The answer mintimum yes. How on I buy ham. The benefit boy na and also na intimate boy. Because I know I did it. You can read the other deal. And yes, I mean, quite baby, the Anamako on here. This year, the Anamako on gas nasa. To me, then, timidity.
Well, you just heard from some LPG users. Earlier, I was in a conversation with George Queenan, our correspondent who's been on this beat. Let's now bring in Gabriel Kumi, who is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana. Good afternoon to you, Gabriel. Help us understand more the cause of the shortage.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Basically, what has caused this is the fact that last month we had our Atuabo gas processing plant shut down. We take about 50% of LPG from Atuabo. So when the gas processing plant was shut down for 3 weeks for routine maintenance, we were all asked to come and load the
Well, it would appear we have lost Gabriel over the telephone. He was just telling us what could be behind the shortages we are seeing. Right now, certain places in Accra, there is no gas. Gas stations have closed their doors to consumers as a result of the absence of gas. He was just telling us that it's because of the closure of Atuabo. Talk to us a bit more. You were telling us the reason behind the shortage.
Yes, like I did indicate, we had to fall on the imports in Tema to serve the whole country because our Atuabo gas processing plant was down. But subsequently, a consignment came in last week. That consignment was discharged into the various depots. The discharge was completed on Friday last week. That's exactly a week ago. But there were a lot of challenges, according to authorities. There were a lot of challenges with reconciliation and that stalled the process of loading. But what I can confirm to you is that this morning, as we speak now, our trucks are at the various depots loading LPG. So we expect within the next 24 to 48.
Oh my goodness, it would appear that there is some flicker of hope coming in. He says that some trucks have been loaded with gas already. These trucks that have been loaded with gas are going to distribute the gas to the various stations?
Sure, yes, they are loading, and we expect that later this afternoon they will be headed.
Not again. So as soon as this afternoon, some stations will have gas, and you can go back there and check with the nearest station to be sure that there's gas there. Gabriel Kumi is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. You're live here on NewsCentral. This is your Election Command Center.
A reminder, we are your Election Command Center, and to a subject matter that continues to dominate the conversation for quite a while, having to do with the NDC's tussle with the Electoral Commission for a forensic audit of the country's voters' roll. The Electoral Commission has justified its decision not to allow an independent forensic audit of Ghana's electoral. Deputy Commissioner Dr. Eric Bosman-Asare says the current legal framework provides for an internal auditing process to address concerns with the register.
Our procedures and the laws we are using to do our work, we don't think a forensic audit is necessary. And these are the reasons which we have stated clearly in our response to the NDC. And even beyond the response, what we are saying is that you look at the law provides. So unless you are saying that we should use some extra legal means to be able to do that, we are confident in what the law provides, and we are very certain that by the time we will give the register again to the political parties, they themselves will look at it. I made an earlier point, unless the parties are saying they don't have the capacity to know whether the register we have given them is the correct one or it's not the correct one. And I know the parties, the main ones, all of them have the capacity. And what the EC is saying is that all the concerns you have, we have addressed them at the appropriate time. It's very likely very soon we are going to meet with the political parties under the umbrella of IPAC. And these explanations will be made very, very clear to the parties. The register is not for the Electoral Commission, it's for the good people of our country. And I think that once you know there is no problem with it, you yourself may not even call for that audit, because the audit is embedded. And it's good, you mentioned some people have called for forensic audit. Tell those people to look at CI 91. Regulations 23, regulations 24. I don't think maybe they have read. Because if they have read it, they will know that the audit is completely embedded in it.
A full interview airs 2 p.m. on Sunday with Kemeni Amano on hot issues. But let's bring in Mark Usiako. He's convener of Election Watch Ghana, one of the groups that has backed the calls for the audit. Mr. Usi, thank you. The EC has provided a detailed response to the NDC. Does this put the concerns to rest?
Well, let me say a very good afternoon to you and to your cherished viewers. I think that the Electoral Commission, as we speak, is getting things wrong in the sense that the demand for a forensic audit into the register is not just a demand by the National Democratic Congress, but rather it is a demand that the good people of Ghana are looking for. Again, we can't also, in our own thinking, just decide that the demand for a forensic audit is not embedded in any law, just as Mr. Bosman said. What we are saying is that, what is the Electoral Commission hiding from the good people of Ghana and the political parties? Civil society organizations, prominent people in this country like Toby Apede, Otumfuo 82, Election Shortage Ghana, and many people are calling for a forensic audit of the register to unravel certain things that we think that would not augur well for us as far as 2024 election is concerned. Number one, we are looking at irregularities that have happened during the registration exercise. That the forensic audit should be able to unravel the challenge. There is one thing identifying the problem and accepting what the problem is. But if you try to solve the problem at the apex of it, without going to the bottom to identify the root cause of it, we may have a challenge. So as we speak, there have been a lot of illegal transfer that has been made. And these are reasons why we are calling for the audit. Number two, we're also looking at discrepancies in data that the Electoral Commission claims and have admitted that they are all problems they have encountered. Unauthorized logins. We want to know who did the logins? Where did the person get the logins from? At what time did he do it? Who and who got transferred? Did the transfers, response to the required transfer that are supposed to be done? The people that have been transferred, did they consent to it? These are the informations we need. And that is why we are saying that it is not just about the Electoral Commission sitting or the political parties getting the opportunity to do the auditing, but rather we are calling for an independent audit where the Electoral Commission will be part of stakeholders to conduct this exercise.
Well, here lies the case. The Commission is insisting that it's out of reach. It's not something that's going to happen. They've been quite consistent on that front. They are expected to meet the political parties on Tuesday, where they say that they will seek to make that final point clear again with all the parties seated at a table. Where next for all of the individuals and groupings who continue to insist on a forensic audit?
I can tell you the outcome of the meeting on the 1st, where the Electoral Commission is trying to put together political parties so that we go there and vote. But you see, the fact is this. It is not about the fingers we put up there by voting for either to conduct a forensic audit into the register or not, but rather let us consider the repercussions that will happen after the decision that is taken at IPAC. It is not about what the law is saying, it is not about what the Electoral Commission is saying, but it is the demand the people of Ghana are demanding. Look, we can look at Article 1, Clause 1 of our Constitution, upon whom the laws of Ghana is embedded on. That is the Ghanaian people, and they are demanding for the audit. The political parties and the civil society organizations, the prominent chiefs that have also, added their voices to this call, are just representatives leading the people. The people cannot rise up to the Electoral Commission.
Right.
It takes political parties, civil society organizations, groups to lead this call, and that is all what we are demanding. What is the Electoral Commission hiding?
Mark, we'll leave the conversation here. I'm sure there'll be a lot more from the first, as you mentioned, that IPAC meeting by the Electoral Commission. But we can't stay with matters in relation to politics this afternoon.
Now, the flag bearer of the NDC is on the third leg of his Greater Accra Regional Campaign Tour, with a focus on the spare parts business hub of Accra. John Mahama, in his manifesto, has given his firm assurances of a fixed rate for import duties to alleviate the plight of the importers, especially spare parts dealers. Even before John Mahama's engagement, dealers at Kokompe magazine of the Ablekuma North constituency have lamented their dwindling businesses, saying government's draconian taxes have put their businesses into sleep mode. Here are some of the dealers who spoke to our Komla Kluche.
We are having $1 to 380 pesos, and that was far better than this time. And also, aside the exchange rate, we have taxes overwhelming us. The taxes are a lot because we paying COVID levy and e-levy at the post to poses more stress on us. So it makes the markets very difficult.
Pass and a send a first, young Fasoni, Yamassia, and Yakra. Because we say $1 no, send $1 no, Johnny Edicono, Nadiano, in Yakauna, Amasa, Yamanuna, SCC, or Edmund. Oh, you send a NDC Edmano early time, no money, and it's a minor, a costu Edima. But Omoba, I know the SSC, a more boy, the Anaya Boakra, SSC MPP by no. Nanyama, Sena Nyama Echo or NDC time no, saa na ti sisi area na eboa ni da no kware ni
baba ha mo asam no sisi aya akoko bena za ba company bi ha agufaru na ba me wato aye CP company na dam company na wa ya ba better sa because CP company no bo say ya ba ya da sa so wanda na woto da me ene na wo ko ba ho eto ade ba ko na ba na woto kra na wonto yere na wonto hwehwehwehwehwe nje say ba ya ba ni ya papa na that ya bi mbro baka papa ni say ye na yo ha mo say etetin mo ba ho na wo hwese say ya ya ba ma ba ko ga pa ni say ya braga kra say sana ya kra mama amajian mama amajian say da nyum to fun ka no mambe bajian mambe omsambra amajian wa ma yes ama ko ba ya de ejagwa tum to mra ampa ejwani de koso so ntse first no ko yi container ba kwa utimi container ba nipa mienu timi bum le yi container ba ko na this ko yi container nipa 6 kwa ebum a ntimi yi container no is quite tax na doso nti de say omo ye ma ya ni say omo ma tax ni ba frank akra tax na ma bibia akosoro and we be say say career and kware sem de ho anu waka first no de na etimi nyama say de kura nti so de Mahama e kan say obeba be yi obeti nyama so ama ye no say nye dada no dada e say anu kware sem lo ka dia anka if say so ma no so metra anwe say
Komla Kluche is on that John Mahama tour. He joins us with a bit more from there. Komla, good afternoon to you. What else can you report about the whereabouts of the NDC flag bearer?
He has resumed a campaign like he did early on. But the focus today is within the Greater Accra region, specifically the business hub, and he is calling some between 9 and 11 communities within some 4 constituencies. But John Mahama has been reacting for the very first time on camera on the number 8 that he told. And then about a week ago, when the parties went to the Electoral Commission to do the balloting, and he placed 8, the MPP had the first floor. John Mahama has been extending to the
Well, Komla, we are unable to hear you. What we'll do now is take a listen to John Dramani Mahama while on that tour.
Nano, yako Electoral Commission, yako ye balloting. Say abato okratano, baby obia beda ewa abato okratano. Na nyamencha die, ye balloting ye no. Na just NDC, yabeto number 8. Ezu. Enti 8 na obi ka say o breaki 8 no. 8 no e wo me ho. Machi 8 no. Ezu.
Well, let's go check in on Komla Kluche again. Komla, you were telling us about, the activities of John Mahama just before the sound went sour. Talk to us a bit more.
If you can hear me.
No, I'm not sure we can. It would appear we're having network challenges at this time. But thank you so much for the reporting. Komla Kluche is touring the Greater Accra region with John Dramani Mahama. Coming up now is By the Numbers. Today on By the Numbers, we narrow our gaze further on the Greater Accra region and why it has piqued the interest of the 2 leading candidates in the campaign over the last 2 months. Home to a number of swing constituencies, the dynamics in the region continue to fascinate political watchers. Today, though, we'll look at the Lejokuku constituency, a known battleground that would go down to the wire. Let's now bring in Mawia Nagbata, who's at the score screen, to tell us what's happening with these swing regions.
Yes, swing regions, but we would like to call them battle areas in the lead up to the 2024 elections. We'll get into Lejokuku, but these 8 constituencies were projecting into December 2024 will be crucial battlegrounds. But interestingly, the NDC holds 7 out of this 8. Amasaman has been known to be NDC for some time. They switched, gave that constituency to the NPP. Lejokuku until 2016 was a swing region as well because of the trajectory and the way it's gone. And then Adenta as well continue to flip-flop every now and then. And then Klote Kole, which has gone to either sides, really. And so this is what it's looking like. These are the constituencies which really were expecting it to go right down to the wire in terms of the margins being close and each candidate having to overwork themselves to be able to clinch the various constituencies listed here.
I see. So let's zero in now on Lejokuku. Very interesting dynamics in that constituency where I used to live. But we see that, how they behave in the presidential elections, very similar to how they behave in the parliamentary election. If you misbehave as a candidate, you're not getting another chance from them. But what do the numbers say?
Well, the numbers has said one thing in terms of the presidential elections. Has been swing up until this point. 2016, from there on in, it's looked a more NDC constituency since then because the NDC won in 2016 in that particular constituency but lost the general elections. They won again in 2020 but lost the general elections as well. But based on what was seen and what the projections suggest, it looks like the NDC might just on the presidential front be able to clinch this particular constituency again. That's what we're seeing, but a swing constituency up until 2016.
And this is the presidential race. What is the projection of win in the 2024, election for the NDC in the Lejokuku constituency?
Well, it's looking somewhat 54.9%. That's what the numbers are suggesting at this particular point in time, but it's still quite early days yet in terms of being able to really work down the numbers to the barest minimums. There's a saying out there quite clearly that fear delegates. The polls continue to come up every now and then, but it will all be determined by the constituents on the ground and what their choice of a candidate would be eventually.
And if indeed 54.9% shows up, that's an improvement on the performance of the NDC on last year. Because
on the last election, excuse me. Last elections as well.
Indeed.
Let's go into the parliamentary now, which is of obvious interest to a lot of people. And so if you know the Lejokuku constituency quite well, you know that they haven't maintained a member of parliament since, 1996, 1992, you call it what? They have always insisted or always changed their member of parliament.
True.
Be it on the same ticket or from the same party or what, it has always changed. And so we see that from 96 up until 2020, there has not been one individual who's been able to win this seat and retain that. But it looks like that might change in the lead up to the 2024 elections because the two individuals who are going up against each other, the incumbent, who's the member of parliament at this particular point in time, Benjamin Nate Ayiku, he is the incumbent member of parliament. He beat this man and the current health minister, Dr. Bernard Okoboy, in 2020 to clinch this particular seat. For the very first time, if anything is to go by and if the Fourth Republican politics is anything to consider, Lejokuku will have a member of parliament repeated. Be it whether or not they lost and have returned or they are winning again,
either way,
a member of parliament going from that particular constituency into parliament for the second time. Very first time that will be happening based on the numbers and the battle that will be between Bernard Okoboy and then Benjamin Nate Ayiku. And then on the presidential front as well, we've seen what the projections suggest that John Mahama might just be clinching that particular constituency. But I believe the vice president will have something to say in relation to that in terms of wanting to improve his numbers in the Greater Accra region. And which better area to do that than in Lejokuku, which has been known up until 2016 to be one of the very interesting regions in terms of a swing and the expectations from here on in coming.
Well, you know, I wish the candidates well, because Lejokuku voters are not like any other voters in the Greater Accra region. We saw the euphoria around Dr. Bernard Okoboy in the lead up to the 2020 elections, and yet he lost. They didn't give him another chance. So let's see what happens in the 2024 elections.
We look forward to it as
Thank you for bringing us the numbers. We'll bring you more battlegrounds in subsequent broadcasts. Right now, your election command center will take a quick break.
Solve the unemployment crisis in Ghana? Yes, Massa.
By using formula 133.
Can you expatiate?
Say, this simply means 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. That is the Mahama 24-hour economy policy. Under this policy, businesses will be given tax incentives, cheaper electricity, financial support, and security support services to encourage them to work 24/7 by adopting 3 work shifts of 8 hours each. This will triple job opportunities in the country. This policy will boost production, increase productivity, and generate well-paying jobs in all participating businesses and public organizations.
Excellent. The 24-hour policy will be a game changer.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Luckiest star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get a packing from your one line. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck.
Hey,
we'll be ready. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4.
Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets.
I'm choosing random tickets. That's it.
Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
never. Tread cautiously.
Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The
luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Yo, Jay. What is this? Why, you go write emails or something?
Charlie, the bills and taxes are for paying. That's why they write plenty like that too. The movement from taxation to production, it make beans.
You read the NDC manifesto I send give you. That's why you the hustle. Your Mahama say when he come power, he go exempt micro and small businesses from paying VAT. He also go give 2-year tax holiday to new businesses. So say them go first stand them elect up and grow better before them go start they pay corporate and personal income tax.
Charlie, that will go for me. Oh. Now I make my mind say I no go vote. But this one, dear, if I change my mind, then go vote give John Mahama.
That will be all. He's also go scrap e-levy, COVID tax, emission tax, and the 10% betting tax. No.
It don't be. The e-levy said the cheapest.
Swear.
I like the tax wrong with you. Charlie, Kwanzaa, what else Mahama talk?
If I talk you everything today, what else I will talk you tomorrow?
Oh. Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, providing an enlightened analysis of the key issues facing us as a country.
The key points of the stories that matter with the people who matter.
This is Key Points, the #1 award-winning television news analysis program, every Saturday, 7 a.m. on TV3 and on Free FM 92.7. TV3, first in news.
You're welcome back to News Central. We're starting off this particular segment from the regions where the former Attorney General, we'll bring you that shortly, the ruling New Patriotic Party is reorganizing its base in the Ashanti region to meet its projected target of 85% share of total votes in the December elections. Opinion polls by Global Info Analytics have placed the ruling party in the 60% bracket. Let's take you to the Ashanti region to understand how the NPP is seeking to increase its votes margin to an all-time high in its stronghold, the Ashanti region. William Evans Inkum is joining us quickly for that particular conversation. Evans, first off, what new strategy is the NPP adopting in the region?
Well, so currently what they are doing is that they are trying to ensure some level of uniformity as far as their various groups who are on the ground campaigning and canvassing for vote for the party is concerned. So what they are doing is that there isn't going to be separate groups who will be doing their own thing, but there's going to be one single group who will be on the ground campaigning for them. So for instance, we know of friends of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is not going to, that particular group is going to be disbanded. Now they are going to have Baumia 24. That is what they are going to do. They're going to have one single group hitting the ground to campaign for the ruling New Patriotic Party.
Right.
And why are they doing that? They are doing that to ensure some level of uniformity as far as pitching their political campaign is concerned. And in this particular group, we are also going to see some of the members of parliament who could not retain their ticket going into the 2024 parliamentary election. Then, of course, we're also going to see other parliamentary candidates or aspirants who also could not grab that sole ticket going into the 2024 election. So these are the people who are going to lead in their various constituencies. One particular person who is going to serve as a patron for this particular group is Dr. Aduchum, the current education minister. Now, Dr. Aduchum, Mawina, you agree with me that he has been off the political scene for some time now, ever since Dr. Matukuku's name was mentioned as the running mate. He hasn't been that active. But now we are going to see some level of much more involvement in his political campaign as far as his party NPP is concerned. So that's exactly what they are doing as far as uniting the base and hitting that 85% target that the party has set for itself in the December polls.
Evans, thank you for those details. That's William Evans Inkum providing a bit more for us here on your Election Command Center.
Now, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice and a staunch member of the opposition NDC, Betty Mould-Idrisu, says the ruling NPP's target of securing 85% votes in the Ashanti region will remain a dream. Speaking after a campaign launch of the NDC in Menchia North's constituency, she was optimistic that even traditional voters of the NPP will vote for the NDC this time, considering the clarion call for a change in government.
I don't see how, by any calculation or by any genuine election, they can pull that number. It's just not possible. It's totally impossible from all the signs we are having, from both the indigenous Ashanti and the settler community, from both our traditional voters, from the first-time voters, from the women, and from those who traditionally vote only MPP because a Yenya party. We have changed, and it's going to manifest in a really great way.
Ibrahim Abubakar was at the campaign. He joins us with a bit more on this. Ibrahim, good afternoon to you. Menchia North is a safe seat for the NPP. What has been the voting pattern, and how does the NDC intend to snatch it?
Well, Kemini, since 2012, when the constituency was created, the MPP has won it repeatedly. In fact, the lowest vote they had was around 69%. However, on the side of the NDC, their best performance, which was in 2020, was around 28%. So, for the NDC to target that seat, I would say it may not be impossible, because in an election, everything is possible. However, it is going to be a daunting task for them, looking at the voting pattern or the vote margin. But the NDC says that per their campaign strategy and the responses they are getting on the ground, they are very sure that they can pull a surprise in the 2024 election at the Menchia North. Hamza Swala is the parliamentary candidate for the NDC in Menchia North.
It's a message to the NPP, to the other side, that, hey, all is not well. This seat can be taken away from us, and we are going to do that. This work is a signal, and this work says it all. Trust you me. On the 8th of December, we shall be meeting here or in our coalition center for a different kind of interview about how did I win this seat. And trust me, we are going to win it.
Well, now, Ibrahim Abubakar, thank you so much for the reporting. You're watching News Central. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll turn attention to education.
Season. Enjoy the best football moments with your guy, GoTV. Get your GoTV today to enjoy all the best football live on SuperSport. GoTV.
This October to December, King's Furniture says thank you, Ghana. Enjoy a whopping 25% off on all our domestic kitchen, wardrobes and sofas. Upgrade your home with the finest furniture crafted right here in Ghana. And for your office, we're offering 20% discount on all office furniture, because your workspace deserves the best. Whether it's for home or office, now's the time to make your space truly yours and give the gift of comfort and style to your loved ones. Hooray! Promo is from October 1st and ends December 31st, 2024. Visit King's Furniture Showroom today and enjoy these incredible discounts. Locate us in Accra, Kisima, adjacent Melco and Takrade, Tanokrum, Pipeline, right opposite Connect FM, or call us on 050-150-5507 Accra and 050-133-2327. King's Furniture sets a standard. And a big thank you to Ghana.
away. I see. Monsieur Namid 200 Ghana Koja so sister. Buy you in your 5 cities. And then 40 Ghana. Hey, take one container your 40 to 50 pesos. And not 20 Ghana. And then at dancing, or look at 30 Ghana. Adai, on my bay money away.
Oh, was our casa, Michel Dean. Sha, Doctor me 20 Ghana. Ah, me pay for me 15 Ghana cedi a day. On my bay near woman, your coya not yes, by.
Share, and yet Diane Bonkuan Kosuru. John Dramani Mahama time. Submit 1 bag. Near 24 Ghana cedis. Main Conamin Concoto submit 1 bagger. Yes, say a 108 cedis. I don't know what you're better saying. It is the same, say, who see Diane. Say, and I'll be say, John Dramani Mahama Bama Gia. Yabewo, Yana Bibian from our combat queen. I'll come in the end queen. A better fire 100 pa. No people are buying. What dear more Ancassa, media minimum how. No media, Mahama Situm, Namatua. And yes, sanity, dear. A year Kufu had any bow mea. Yamia don't say December 7. Drua. You be true, Master said you to buy. You be true, Ancassa.
Shall I sit no more to Abapa? A disacraya Papa Beba Wabrabum. To Abama John Mahama NDC.
Well, there are fears some fish consumed here in Accra could be contaminated by chemicals flowing from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's drains, which end up in the sea. My colleague Gordon Asidiba covers this disturbing situation in his latest documentary, Troubled Morgue.
The mortuary's drainage system remains a disaster waiting to happen. Wastewater, now more toxic than ever, flows untreated from the mortuary into major drains.
The smell in here is absolutely unbearable. You can't be able to stay around for more than a minute. Now, it is alleged that the wastewater from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, together with its morgue, flows through its channels where it finally passes through this bigger drain which connects to the Kole Lagoon and finally settles in at the sea. This is unhealthy and poses a serious health risk to the populace.
This untreated effluent contaminates where local fishermen ply their trade, creating a public health hazard that extends far beyond the mortuary walls. Kojo Ashanti, not his real name, has been fishing along the seafront where the morgue's wastewater settles for over 20 years. Though aware of the situation, he continues to fish here with his colleagues. He awaits for the water to rise in the evening, believing fish catch and sell.
Moche sa fish na mowe.
Yeah, pa because go say enemy ni and once a watch you know we work for you. You did in a tone one call for. We to me high but so Ebia will be by a madu ayara at the Quam.
Man for forward and bomb. Medical supply. Customs, Tinam for medical monk. Say, I can see the Sia. I saw medical colleague. Any pay for not medical money.
Public health experts continue to warn that the untreated discharge from the mortuary is a recipe for disaster. The risk of disaster outbreaks looms large, and the longer this situation is allowed to persist, the greater the threat to the public. Director of Metro Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Florence Kuchi, and her team conduct regular inspections at the morgue, describing the situation as extremely disturbing.
It is not acceptable. Channeling autopsy wastewater straight to water source is not one of the best. It has public health implications on the marine life as well as public health, because the fishes that are in the waters may consume that water, and human beings will also end up consuming the fish. They need some form of digesters that they will channel these wastewater into those digesters for it to go through processing, treatment processing, after which the final source that is clean can then be channeled into the water bodies or wherever it is. It can even be used to water plants.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Pokuware Ampoma, has assured that plans are underway to address the issues at the hospital morgue, including fixing the drainage system. He shares this in an exclusive interview with Godwin Asidiba.
It's in a deteriorating state. When was the last time you went there, and what did you see?
I go there last week. I was there. The fact that the morgue is not necessarily in a deteriorating state. What most people don't know is that if you go anywhere in the world, okay, most cities have got a city morgue.
Okay.
Now, this city morgue is a morgue where if you find an abandoned body, hit and run victim, murder victim, or there's a forensic investigation, they have to exhume a body.
Right.
That's where those bodies will be sent. Okay. Now, we don't have a city morgue in Accra.
Okay.
So Korle Bu Teaching Hospital morgue has become the default morgue.
Okay.
So we always see hundreds of cases brought in. Now, if Korle Bu decides that, look, these are not our cases, so we turn the bodies away, what will happen?
Right.
You see the kind of outcry that will be in society. But then we are storing all these bodies. Nobody pays Korle Bu Teaching Hospital for storing these bodies.
Right.
No, we have to pay electricity bills at the end of the month.
So, looking at the place now that is serving as a city morgue, are there plans to renovate the place? Because you go there, waters are stagnant in there, flies hovering all around. Do you have plans to address that issue?
Yes. So there's a general drainage issue in that area.
Right.
There's a general drainage issue. So we've engaged the African Development. We've requested for a grant. So the African Development Bank is coming on board with a grant to actually redo the sewage and drainage system for the whole of Korle Bu. Because since Korle Bu was built about 100 years ago, no major rehabilitation or refurbishment have been done of this thing. So of course, 100-year-old. Most of them like asbestos pipes. Some of them have caved in at certain points, and so we need to redo the whole thing. And so that project is going to come on. So they are in the final stage of the preparation for the project to come on. The Ministry of Sanitation, we are grateful to them for coming on board with the Ministry of Finance to support our request to have this project done. And then we also are undertaking a project. There's a project that's actually one of the meetings I've had today, where we are finalizing to do a new morgue for Korle Bu.
Okay.
Away from that, and quickly on education, we know there's a challenge across public tertiary institutions in the country, the University of Ghana, the University of Development Studies, and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, all being forced to postpone reopening as a result of ongoing agitations on the labor front. And you're seeing that on your screens right now. And that's been occasioned by strikes by the Ghana Association of University Administrators, Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, and the Teachers and Educational Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress. And their main concerns: delayed pension contributions, non-payment of vehicle maintenance allowances, and suspension of certain agreed upon benefits, is what is keeping these three universities from reopening. Hopefully the conversations will start and they can reach some agreement with government towards their concerns.
Absolutely.
And then school can reopen. That's our bulletin for you for today and for this week. Let's scan quickly and be a part of the 3 News WhatsApp channel. That's where you find all things news related here from TV3, 3FM, and across the various social media platforms and media general platforms as well. As always, a pleasure to come your way every afternoon. I am Mawina Igbeta.
I am Kemini. I'm on a NewsCentral returns on Monday, but I'll see you at 10 p.m. on Ghana Tonight. Bye-bye.